Hello guys, and welcome to Total War Warhammer 2. Today we are going to be starting a new Mortal Empires campaign playing as Chaos. This is after you guys voted for it on the community page of my YouTube channel. It was actually very close between Rome 2, Divide et Imperia mod, this, and Empire Total War, but Chaos came through in the end. So what I'm going to do is I'll add the other two options to a future poll so you guys can vote on them again if you would like. But for now, let's select ourselves a Lord. And we are not going to be choosing Archaon this time around because I have played him in the past on the original Total War Warhammer on my main channel, Vulcan HD Gaming. So instead, we are going to be picking the second biggest badass, which is Kholek, Suneater. Now, Kholek is awesome in melee combat, but he arguably has the worst faction effects, lord effects, and additional starting units out of all three lords. I'll leave you guys to read those faction effects and lord effects, but let's have a look at the Chaos race attributes. Awaken the Tribes. Restores fallen Norscan tribes to life as the pets of the Lords of Chaos. Chaos Corruption, creeping insidious ruin that can be spread within enemy territory, leading to public order issues and chaos rebellions. They have a powerful unit roster with armoured infantry and monsters. Now, one thing that is very similar with Chaos to the vampires is that we have a severe lack of ranged units. So since I've been playing vampires a lot lately, I will be used to that, and that's all good. But I will be focusing on getting Hell Cannons online sooner than later. Anyway, we're going to be keeping the difficulty on very hard for both campaign and battle difficulty. And that's everything set up, so let's start the campaign. The storms gather, raging across the north, rousing the oldest of Chagos. Kholek has awoken, and his anger is as fierce as he is ancient. Now is the time to honour the ancient pact made with the Chaos Gods to wage endless war. For Kholek Suneater is no mere minion of the ruinous powers, but the herald of the Tempest.
You have slumbered long, Chagos. Arise, mighty Kholek. It is time to bring ruin to the earthly realms. You shall go into the lands of the mortals to spread fear and destruction. The Norse tribes to the west shall fall easily before you. Bind those willing to join your cause, and slay the rest. Further to the south lie the nations of men. They will resist your advance, and for good reason. You will bring them annihilation, mighty lord. Devour the mortal souls to bring the favor of the Chaos Gods. March forth and spread oblivion in their name.
Welcome to the Warriors of Chaos campaign. So unfortunately no cinematic at the start of this one, but we did get the wonderful floaty introduction courtesy of our advisor. Let's read how they play. Warriors of Chaos. Hordes. The Warriors of Chaos cannot inhabit settlements, instead roaming the map as hordes in which encampment buildings may be constructed. Chaos Corruption. The followers of Chaos spread corruption, where they pillage and raid, despoiling the land and making it unsuitable for those who have not given themselves to the ruinous powers. So here's Kholek, and he's already been assigned a mission to raise or sack 4 settlements. That will give us a reward of 2,000 favour. The description is as follows. All are pawns of chaos, all must serve. Do as the dark gods wish and begin the destruction. Thus is the way prepared for the end times. So during this campaign we are going to be going for the long campaign victory. The long campaign victory conditions are raise and sack 80 settlements and destroy the Empire, Bretonnia, the Dwarves, and Lothern. So this is going to take us quite a long time. But that's what we're going to be going for. And if you guys would like to see a world domination afterwards, then when I get towards the end of the long campaign victory, you guys can let me know, and I'll probably put it to a poll. So we have a few things to do anyway. Let's start by moving Kholek on. Since we are playing Chaos, we are going to have to do the old 75% movement and encamp. So we've moved 75%, and now we can go into encamp stance. We can actually also go into raiding stance, so that would be useful if we do not want to encamp for whatever reason, or if we don't need to. But we're going to encamp for now, and we're going to recruit ourselves some more Chaos Marauders. It's all good. Let's have a look at our research. The technology is a bit of a weird one. With Chaos, you have to pay for each tier, and then you have to spend time in order to recruit the different the different technologies on each tier. And they each get, I think, longer the higher you go up in terms of how long they take to research. But we're going to put the Path to Ruination on straight away. That will give us access to these three. Let's have a look at what they give us. Scrutiny of the Dark Gods gives us minus 15% recruitment costs for Marauder units. Skulls for the Skull Throne gives us income from post-battle loot plus 10%. And Rituals of Corruption gives us income from raising settlements plus 10%. It's quite likely that I will go for income from post-battle loot, so we'll queue that up. Awesome. Can actually upgrade Kholek's camp here already. That might also be worth doing. It will leave us relatively low on cash, but we will be attacking Bearsling's camp soon. That does also give us minus 10% upkeep for all units, which is useful early on. And upkeep is probably one of the biggest afflictions that Chaos has to deal with. We will be running a deficit for the majority of the mid to late game, where we have a negative income, and we are then just raising settlement after settlement after settlement to pay that off. So that's what we're working with. Either way, I think that's everything done for the turn. There's not much to do in diplomacy. Everybody hates us. Let's end the turn. Diplomacy will only play a factor when we get our vassals. One thing that is quite nice is when you awaken a tribe now, they become your vassal rather than your ally. So when you declare war on people, I don't think they will betray you like they always used to. And also they can't declare war on one another, I don't think, which always used to happen, and you ended up having to pick a side and then you'd have to destroy one. That technology is already complete, gives us the 5% casualty replenishment rate, and we're going to be moving straight on to the skulls for the Skull Throne. Since we have built those extra Chaos Marauders, let's jump into normal stance, declare war on the Grolodmadli tribe, and we will wipe them out. They do have a second camp at Frozen Landing. This is going to be a simple auto-resolve to start off with. Took a little bit more damage than I would have liked on this Chaos Warhounds, but no army here, so all good. I think what I'm going to do is take the casualty replenishment rate and the horde growth just to get that going sooner than later, and then we'll probably release the Bearsling's camp at Frozen Landing. Let's raise that. We got a obsidian trinket, which really isn't that good. I wish we'd got something a bit better. But Kholek has leveled up. We do have some of the new skills available now with Kholek. I am playing this on the Festag update, so we've got a new red tree to work with. But first things first, we go towards Route Marcher, which gives us the plus 10% campaign map movement range. Always very useful to have that. And everything is done. We can't move into in-camp stance, so we will end the turn. So we start at war with quite a few factions. I think all of the Empire factions at least. Most of them. The only one we really need to worry about in the early game is Kislev. They certainly come hunt us down. But that is Kolek dealt with. So let's now move forwards towards Frozen Landing. Actually, we need to make sure that we don't go further than 75%. That'll do. We'll go into encamp stance and try to recruit some Chaos Marauders. And once again, everything is done. There might be quite a bit of turn skipping whilst we only have one army. We'll just be moving forwards, encamping, recruiting, moving on to the next turn, moving, encamping, recruiting, and so on. I am likely actually to get a second army as soon as I can, or at least when Kolek's armies fall. Now I did not expect this to happen. Olaf Hilmarsson has actually sallied forth from Frozen Landing and has decided to attack us. This actually benefits us quite well because we'd probably suffer against both the army and the garrison in the upcoming battle. So this is a good opportunity for us. We're up against Marauders with great weapons, Marauder spearmen, Marauders, Marauder hunters with javelins, and some Fimir warriors. Those Fimir warriors we can probably take on with Dragon Ogres, right? Because they are anti-large. Yeah. Let's fight this on the battle map. We've also got Chaos Warriors with halberds. Here we are. Let's have a look at the map. We are on the defensive, so they will be coming towards us, and we can use that to our advantage. If we head towards them, it looks like it will be pretty dire anyway. Is that a hill behind? It is. Could probably use this little hill here. So we'll line up the Chaos Warriors. They can be our front line. And then I'm going to have the Chaos Marauders be our sort of flanking units, and they can cover our flanks. And we'll have these in a couple groups on either side that can work together to take down the enemy. And of course we have Kolek here, and we have the Dragon Ogres, and we have the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn will be very good as well. Let's start the battle. They're going to be slowly marching towards us. We're not going to want to let them skirmish for too long with the Marauder Hunters with javelins. But for now, I think we can just wait. Actually, let's have a good look at the units. We have our Marauder Horseman here. We've seen these plenty of times before. We've got the Chaos Warhounds. Ugly beasts. We've got our Chaos Marauders, which are absolute chads, wearing barely anything in this cold weather. We've got our Chaos Warriors with halberds, looking very shiny and badass. Back here we have our Dragon Ogres. Very awesome. Kolek, the biggest badass in the north. We have our Chaos Spawn. And that's about it. Actually nearly here. Let's turn the hub back on. Okay, so I might give my units individual orders to charge forwards. But as I already mentioned, we don't really want the Marauder Hunters with Javelins to attack us too much. We can have the Chaos Warriors with Halberds try and focus on the Fimir Warriors. We'll see what happens. Thankfully the Chaos Warriors are shielded, so the Javelins won't do too much to them, but they might do some damage to the Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Yeah, let's push in here. And I'm going to have the Dragon Ogres target those. Push on. Good. Right, let's push to the right side. And we'll try and target these Marauder Hunters with Javelins.
Marauder Horseman.
Might charge them actually. And we'll do the same on this side, we'll just charge them. And I think I'll have these Chaos Marauders come along and help us out. Or I could flank into the back of the Marauders. I might do that. We need to get our Chaos Spawn in there, and we also need to get Kolek in there sooner than later. We're going to put him right in the middle of the biggest chunk of units, because he has crazy AoE. Here we go. They're getting smashed to bits. I think I'm going to pull them out and we'll charge them again. Same here. We'll pull out and charge them again, because the charge bonus is half the reason we can win that engagement. Wow, we're absolutely crushing them though. Huge rout. Alright, let's charge on through again. Have Kolek come across. How about my Dragon Ogres? We can make sure they're focusing the Fimir Warriors. I could also have Kolek start smashing up the Fimir Warriors, because they are going to do quite a bit of damage. Nice. So that's done. What about on this side? The Marauder Hunters with Javelins actually lasting quite a while. A couple of my Marauders are low on health. But for the most part we're all good. Let's bring these hounds over. And I need to make sure the Dragon Ogres focus on the Fimir Warriors. We'll smash the Marauder Spearmen. Those are all dealt with, that's good. Let's now focus down the Marauder Hunters with Javelins. I can have the Chaos Spawn run after those as well, whilst the Chaos Warhounds run down the Marauders. Actually, let's have them run down the Great Weapons, because they're going to get away if I don't. I want to kill off as many of these as possible, since I do not want them to fall back to their settlement. Very good. We actually broke these guys pretty quickly, didn't we? We'll have the Hounds continue running down the Marauder Hunters with Javelins. I'll have the Marauder Horseman come over and chase down the Marauders, so that we can kill off as many as we want.
Very well. Charge! For the Blood God!
Dragon Ogre should probably keep running down the Marauder Hunters with Javelins. We ended up killing off all of the Fimir Warriors. I think their leader might escape. But all of the other units I want to make sure are dead. That's what happens when you get smacked by Star Crusher. Oh my. We can see Kolek having fun. These units over here, and they're mostly depleted, so we'll probably end up being destroyed, which is good. Yeah, for the most part that was a very successful battle. Did not expect that right flank to break so easily, but I'll take it. I'm just going to speed this up so we can see these guys getting run down, and then we will end the battle there for the close victory. So 162 kills for our hounds. But the Dragon Ogres, they got a couple of unit ranks out of that. And since we are going to be attacking a settlement, I'm tempted to take enslaved captives rather than the cash. 8% is pretty large actually. And he's going to be heading back to Frozen Landing. So Biting Blade gives Kolek an extra 8 armor piercing damage. Not entirely sure how consequential that is. This turn we can attack Frozen Landing. I guess that's what we're going to be doing. Have a look at this blue tree actually, just to see if there's anything that's worth having. Like this Tribes of Chaos, for example. Horde growth is something that's very useful early on to allow you to get more decent units quicker. But the other ones all look pretty awful, honestly. Lightning Strike will be useful for Chaos for sure, because you often get double teamed, and if you can lightning strike singular armies, then you're often in a better spot. I think for now I'm going to go for Dominating Presence. The character aura leadership effect +5 is always going to be useful for Kolek, since he's going to be in the middle of the melee. Let's charge towards Frozen Landing. But this doesn't have a very large garrison, but we are going to have to fight this out on the battle map. Reason being, we don't want to take unnecessary losses. And this is a settlement that I'm going to use to awaken the Bearslings tribe. But once again, we'll have our Chaos Warriors in the mid with our Chaos Marauders on the flanks. We'll keep the Dragon Ogres in the center with Kolek and the Chaos Spawn. And we'll set up our teams of Marauder Horseman and Chaos Warhounds on the flanks. We are the aggressor, so we'll lock the control group there, start heading forwards.
Charge them! My God's gone!
The intention is to use the Marauder Horsemen and Chaos Warhounds probably to take out the Marauder Hunters, since they are the only ranged units that they have in this army. And once they're dead, we can cycle charge, hammer and anvil style, into the back of their forces. I'm also going to use my wider line to surround them, hopefully. I'll probably get some shots off with the Marauder Horseman, actually. I just don't want to be engaged by the Marauder Hunters at range, because they can do quite a bit of damage. These are Marauder Champions, so we'll target those. If we can whittle them down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to unlock this control group. And we're going to start charging forwards.
Yes, Lord! Move! For chaos! Destroy!
Alright, these guys can come around the flanks. Where are my dogs? There they are. We want to start putting pressure onto the Marauder Hunters. Beautiful swing there from Kolek. Right in the middle of them. Perfect.
Charge! Very well! KHORNE demands! Chaos Marauders! Faster!
I think I might just charge into the back of the Marauder Spearmen there briefly. We'll charge into the Marauder Hunters. These guys can start coming into the back of these lot. And I might have these just run over to the left side. You only have to make them all rout in order to win. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. So that's that one dealt with. Let's just go charge over to these guys. Then we need to make the Lord route. And that's it. Job done. Fantastic. Simple as that. I am tempted to get a couple more Warhounds, but I think we'll just keep stacking the Chaos Marauders, since they just have a little bit more value for what they actually cost. And that is actually worth 2,100. Wow. So that's worth more than Bearsling's camp. Maybe I should have done it the other way around. But we'll awaken the tribe at Frozen Landing. The other reason I should have probably done it at Bearsling's camp is because it is the primary settlement of the province, but I'm sure they'll go capture it. That's the Goromadni tribe destroyed. First faction falling to the strength of Kolek, and he's leveled up once again. So let's have a look at these different skills that we can get. Chaos Vanguard is extra armor and melee defense for Chaos Marauders, aspiring champions and Forsaken units. Savage Bloodlust is extra melee attack and charge bonus for Marauder Horseman, Marauder Horsemasters, Chaos Warhounds and Chaos Feral Manticores. Blessed by Chaos is weapon strength for Chaos Warriors, Chaos Spawn and Chosen units. Also some melee defense. Hammer into Anvil is melee attack and charge bonus for Dragon Ogres, Chaos Knights, Gorebeast Chariots and Chaos Chariot units. Monstrous Strength is weapon strength and melee attack for Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, Chaos Trolls and Chaos Giant units. And some melee attack. And then Doomfire is ammunition and missile damage for Hell Cannons. After that we have the rank 7 abilities. This one, Legion of Doom, affects Chaos Marauders, Chaos Warriors, Forsaken, Aspiring Champions and Chosen. This one's Chaos Warhounds, Chaos Chariots, Gorebeast Chariots, Chaos Knights, Dragon Ogres and Chaos Feral Manticore units. And this one is Chaos Trolls, Chaos Spawn, Chaos Giants, Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and Guided by Tzeentch is for the Hell Cannons, Marauder Horseman and Marauder Horsemasters. Stand or Die is the standard extra melee defense on top of the leadership that you get with Rally. The only one that would be really worth getting for Kolek is probably Hammer into Anvil for the Dragon Ogres, but I guess also Monstrous Strength for the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths, because eventually I'm probably going to have Kolek as an army that just has Dragon Ogres, make it super thematic. Let's put the points into Tribes of Chaos for now. We'll get that Horde growth going, and that will allow us to upgrade sooner than later. We don't have enough movement to encamp, so we're just going to march this way, and we're going to go and attack Kislev. I would attack the dwarves, but they're actually a pretty hard nut to crack with Chaos Marauders early on, since they have quite a bit of armor on their base units. Let's end the turn. Now, doing a world domination with the Chaos will be very hard if you guys would like me to do it. And the main reason being is Skaven. Skaven make it very hard because we rely on raising settlements, and Skaven rely on taking raised settlements in order to expand quickly. And so what will end up happening is Skaven will go and take a bunch of settlements that we've already raised and we won't realise. So unless we destroy Skaven along the way, that's going to be a real problem for world domination. And by world domination, I mean raising every settlement on the map. I'm not going for that right now, but just mentioning it as an option and kind of clarifying what that would be. We have a horde upgrade available. I guess we will move 75% and we will encamp by Volksgrad. I will upgrade to the Warbound of Chaos. Only takes one turn, and we will grab a couple more Chaos Marauders. That is all. I might also want to give a target for Bearsonling's camp. Let's do war coordination towards Kislev. So we'll put it on Volksgrad for now, so they start heading in this direction. But as we continue towards the main settlements, like Prague, having them target that and come with us will be very helpful. Let's end the turn. So we're spreading some Chaos Corruption by standing near Volksgrad. Chaos Corruption, in theory, should allow us to spawn Chaos Rebellions, but it's always quite unlikely that they will succeed, because the AI, especially on very hard difficulty, will crush them very quickly. I haven't moved anything to defend Volksgrad, so it looks like we're in the clear. Nice. And one thing I did want to check is whether or not releasing those counted towards the raise or sack, and it did not. So we've only raised one settlement so far. This will be our second. Poor Volksgrad. Ain't gonna know what hit him. And that, my friends, is an auto-resolve. Getting quite a few unit ranks for Dragon Ogres and Chaos Spawn, which is good. And this one, I believe I will raise the casualty replenishment rate and horde growth. Because getting horde growth, I've already mentioned once, is probably one of the harder things to do. We currently have 1 population surplus and we need 4 for the Unholy Legion. The reason we need level 4 is because I think the building that you need to build hell cannons requires level 4 encampment. Yeah. So this is the Demonic Forge that allows us to build the hell cannon. We can already build the Unholy Furnace, but that's for Chaos Chariots. Chaos Chariots can be very good in the early game, so it may be worth investing into those. If we saved a population surplus of 4 again. But we'll likely get the Unholy Legion first, and then the Unholy Furnace second.
For chaos!
Let's level up Kolek. The Eye of the Gods is plus 7% weapon strength when attacking, which is pretty nice. He then moves on to the standard melee tree. Getting Woundmaker on him will be very good. A moving mountain. What is this? Plus 4 leadership when laying siege. and -2 siege holdout time. Pretty sure I stacked this when I was playing the original Total War Warhammer with one of the skills that we looked at down here. Unless it's changed. No, Ruination. So I think you can stack Ruination with a moving mountain and remove 6 turns or 5 turns from siege. And that basically means that like 1 or 2 turns after you've been sieging them, they will start taking attrition, like severe attrition. And it's a really powerful way of taking on settlements that you don't think that you can defeat with the army unless it's in an open field battle. Because when you're starting to rely on things like Chaos Knights in the mid to late game, that's when that sort of comes into play. The toughened skin would give +20 armor and 15 magic resist. Giant killer +12% weapon strength and bonus versus large. Seismic shock is extra weapon strength and charge bonus for dragon ogres and dragon ogre shagos. So if you stack that with monstrous strength, then we're going to be getting a lot of weapon strength for dragon ogres. Unearthly and anomalous. Oh, that's quite nice. Campaign movement range and casualty replenishment rate. I mean, all of these are very, very good. And the Sun Eater, extra chaos, corruption and frenzy ability for Kholek. Hearts of Iron, bigger loss reduction large for the Lord's army. Leadership aura size +40% from Voice of the Dark Gods. Now that could be very useful in combination with Dominating Presence. But our point for now is just going to continue to go into Tribes of Chaos. Need to get this Horde upgraded as soon as possible. Get Howl Cannons. Get Chosen. And then we're all good. But it all takes Horde growth. Is everything done for this turn? You can't go into encamp stance, so we'll move on. We need to set a new objective for Besseling. We'll make it probably Prague. Ooh. Kislev moved an army into Prague. Dependent on the garrison there, I might still take that attack. The income from post-battle loot plus 10% now. Let's jump into our technology and choose the next one. The only one that really makes sense is income from raising settlements, since the recruitment cost reduction for Marauder units is minimal at best. We are in range to attack Prague, but unfortunately it has been my time. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the introduction to the Warriors of Chaos campaign. Let me know what you think about world domination. I will put up a poll at the end of this campaign, the long campaign victory, to see if you want me to continue. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.